Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for cannabis.
Stop arresting patients! Stop arresting patients! Stop arresting patients!
Welcome to CMMNJ TV.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
I'm Ken Walski, Executive Director of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey. The mission of our organization is to educate the public about the benefits of marijuana. Marijuana is a safe, effective, and inexpensive therapeutic agent for a wide variety of diseases, symptoms, and conditions. No patient should suffer needlessly without it, and no patient should ever go to jail for following the advice of a doctor. Join us and learn more about the exciting science of medical marijuana. Welcome to CMMNJ TV. I'm Ken Walski, Executive Director of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey. I'm here in the Princeton Community TV studios today with Jim Miller, the President of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey. Thank you for coming, Jim. And we're also here with Philippe Dume, a marijuana advocate from Haiti. Welcome, Philippe.
Thank you, Mr. Walski, Mr. Miller.
So, you know, we haven't had anybody from Haiti who's a veteran here, and it begs the question, how did you get from Haiti to here? Not all the way here where you are now, but how did it go from you being born and raised in Haiti to serving in the United States military?
Well, my family and I came to this country, America, in 1994, if I'm not mistaken. I think I just turned 6, going on 7 years old at that time. My father was the governor of Port-au-Prince, and also good friends with Aristide, which was a president at that time. The coup d'etat was in 1992, and because of my father was being in office, America gave us a helping hand because my father was well-connected. So, and believe it or not, the person that had helped us to get here, believe it, his name at the time, he was a colonel in the Pentagon. His name was Colonel Michel. He was the Haitian advocate at the time, being in the Pentagon for Haiti.
Oh, that's an amazing story. Yeah, Haiti has quite a history. It's one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere for sure, and a lot of civil unrest, as I'm sure you've lived through. So and so you came here in '94 with your parents.
Well, how old would you have been then?
I believe I was born in 1987, and I believe I was about 6, 7 years old.
6 or
yes.
7, yeah.
Quite a change for a young one.
Did you come right to New Jersey?
Yes, came right to New Jersey, came right to Trenton, New Jersey.
Oh, how about it?
Yes.
That's great. It's my hometown.
So, what age, I assume you enlisted in the Army, because we don't have a draft. What age were you then?
I graduated high school at the age of 17 in 2005. I joined.
Graduated at 17?
Yes. My parents signed me away. I needed both parents' signatures. So my mom and my father signed me away to the military because I wasn't doing anything else with my life, and I did get a little bit of trouble with the law at that time, and so that we just came up to it like that was the best decision for me to do at the time being, was join the military in 2005 at the age of 17.
At 17, and then when were you first deployed overseas? How old were you then?
I was deployed once and only once overseas. I was deployed from November of 2007. And to March of 2009 for about 18 months straight. And I believe at that time I was 19, so I spent my 19th, 20th, 21st birthday in Iraq.
Yeah, that's not most people's first choice. There's something I wanted to ask. Is it not true? You were telling me one time somebody you served with wrote a book of some sort, and of course
yes.
you were in it. You had a nickname. Honestly, I can't remember what it was.
So the book that was written about what we did in Iraq was written by my lieutenant, and he became my captain in Iraq. His name was Matthew Gallagher. He's a very, very cool guy. He was a native from New York. He was raised very well. Met his parents. His parents are very, very lovely people.
But your nickname, what was it?
My nickname that was given to me by the platoon and the battalion was Haitian Sensation.
Haitian Sensation. And why was that? They're messing it up. Lefty will edit all this laughter out at some point, so let him have a good laugh at your expense. He has to clean it up.
As cool as I was, as smiling as I am, I'm Haitian, so I don't know. We're different people, and like the military taught me like about brotherhood. I already came into this country into the military knowing about brotherhood, and I just say to her, I was like, if I'm loyal with you or to you, you have nothing to worry about. But if I'm not your friend and you are my enemy, that's a different thing. So I just say I go hard to the fullest.
So
my people does.
Is probably part of the reason for having a nickname. As funny as it sounds when you first hear it, it was probably pretty complimentary about the way you went forward full speed and didn't wait for others if you didn't need to.
The book is called Kaboom, by the way. You can find it on Amazon.
Kaboom.
Ow.
Kaboom.
Yes, Kaboom.
Yeah, you're definitely allowed a plug for something like that. I forgot the name. I wanted to read it, get it online. There's obviously a connection with post-traumatic stress. You were a combat soldier.
Yes.
And there's something we were talking about that I talked with you briefly just a little while ago because I wanted to be clear on it. I thought people who are civilians can't really know exactly what veterans are talking about if you haven't had the experience. And I know that because most veterans come back and say, boy, that wasn't what I expected when I got there. So if they didn't know what to expect, we don't know what to expect.
Most of them don't talk about it.
There was something that you hear about people, the post-traumatic stress when they kill somebody, when they have their brothers and sisters get killed or maimed in front of them. And nobody really thinks what happens after a kill, whether it's for, against, friendly fire. You said there's a procedure every time that involves an investigation. And then there's a special duty that soldiers have afterwards that we don't think about. Tell us what that is, please.
Well, with every death, there's definitely an investigation. And you're right, Mr. Walski, most of us don't talk about it. It does take a while for most of us to even start talking about it. Or that definitely don't take a while for us to even start thinking about it, but it does take a while for us to talk about it. Because you gotta look at it like this. When a lot of people look at us when I mean veterans, they look at it as like, yeah, we have a lot of problems. Not only we have a lot of problems, first of all, a lot of people leave us. You have veterans that are coming back home to nothing. You have veterans that their wife leave them, take everything. I'm talking about the house, the car, and the dog. Leave you back with nothing, which was another situation that happened to one of my soldiers. And we didn't even know about it until we came back and he decided to kill himself in front of everybody. And that's how we found out. He was a young boy too. But so like with every death, there is definitely an investigation, especially in overseas, whether it be neutral or civilian size. But yeah, to that being said, after investigation is done, we do have to clean up the body our own self. So we do pick up the body after the deaths, or let's say if it's a civilian side, aka an Iraqian, the people usually take care of it because you're not allowed to touch their body at all.
Till the investigation's over.
Not even till investigation over. They only let Iraqians touch Iraqi bodies. So I said there's an Iraqi body on the ground.
This is done by soldiers.
Yeah, this is done by soldiers.
There's no civilian or otherwise cleanup crew that does that. It's you go through it twice, once when it happens and once when you gotta clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't think of, and
that in itself is traumatic.
That is,
it's not only killing people, but dealing with the results of the killing,
especially when it's somebody you know.
Yeah.
So this is a very serious issue to you. And you're fortunate enough to have a medical marijuana registration card for a different indication.
Yes, for muscle spasticity.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have access to Jersey fresh medicine legally.
Yes, I do.
So you at least get to talk about it the benefits of it on your post-traumatic stress without having to look over your shoulder and wonder if somebody's going to make it an issue. And you know how much it helps people to see you do that. But you also are and have become an advocate. Having talked to veteran Leo Bridgewater recently about this, it's another veteran who also testifies at committee hearings. The first time, so proud of you, because you, unlike Leo, you'd been doing this for a couple of years, that you decided to do your first committee testimony, and we were doing a podcast outside. When you came out, you said, "That's it, I'm never doing that again." And it was because of, not that you didn't do well, it's how it made you feel. Do you remember telling me that?
Yes, I remember telling you that. But I know the reason why I actually started doing this again, because that same week after I told you that, I think it was I was in Jersey City, in northern Jersey, New Jersey. I was chilling with a couple of my clients, and at that I got a phone call, a disturbing phone call from Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, which is, by the way, we are 3 hours ahead of the time. And,
From where? I'm sorry.
From Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah, but it was a disturbing call to us. Like, I found out one of my other veteran friends, he committed suicide.
Mm.
And after that was about like 20 perk 30s overdose. So I was like, dang. So I'm like, all right, bet. And that's when I was like, you know, I started thinking and stuff. I'm like, dang, this is really stupid, you know. And and that's when I contacted you. I was like, yo, Mr. Miller, what is it that you need me to do? And
yeah, so disturbing that more Iraqi veterans have committed suicide than were actually killed in Iraq. You know, the post-traumatic stress disorder, it's such a terrible disease. It's the kind of thing where you talking about the traumatic events can help, but if you're suffering from PTSD, when you talk about them, it just triggers the emotions, the negative emotions, and it's just such a difficult thing. But marijuana really is helpful for PTSD. You know, medical marijuana does help with many different conditions. It's helpful for many different emotional and mental conditions as well. And you know, we certainly hope that post-traumatic stress disorder will be the first of the mental and emotional conditions that are added to the Compassionate Use Medical Marijuana Act here in New Jersey. Right now, only physical conditions like multiple sclerosis and cancer and, as your own, muscle spasms are allowed. And it's just such a limiting program that so few people are able to take advantage of it.
Well, we're fortunate on the, hopefully fortunate on the panel who will be recommending to add conditions or not. There is a psychiatrist who does recommend it for patients who come to her with multiple sclerosis or something else, because they often have need of some help in dealing with that. So she is able to recommend cannabis for the correct indication that is allowed, and then sees the benefit on the post-traumatic stress that she's actually treating.
Exactly your story, Philippe. With, you know, because you see it with your, you see the benefit from your muscle spasms. You also see it personally with the post-traumatic stress disorder.
yes.
Yeah, but there's only one of the people on the panel who actually participate in the medicinal marijuana program, and these are the doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals who are going to make the decision about, not the final decision, but the preliminary decision at least, about whether or not to add any conditions. You know, we really hope that there would be marijuana experts on this panel, but there were none appointed.
Well, that's why Philippe is majorly focusing on the legislative effort.
Right.
And I know when you said you weren't ever going to do that again, it was a matter of, I think, 2 weeks until he was at the next committee hearing, or 3 weeks.
Yeah, June 3rd was the Assembly Committee, and then June 16th was
so
the
he came back
Senate
in 2 weeks for more. But not just that, last week as the summer recess approaches, started the clock ticking that we know that we're one vote away, the vote on the full Senate floor. It just has to be posted for a vote before the recess. And Philippe and I both found ourselves with a few hours off on a Tuesday, so we went to the office of the Senate President, Senator Stephen Sweeney, got no recourse there, and then went straight into the Senate Majority Office in the State House to leave a letter and try to see somebody, and we did see their general counsel. He's certainly done a lot more than not go back to a committee hearing. He's branching out into cold calling people. And
that's tough.
What we
it's
saw
very tough what you're doing, even for experienced people in the State House to
why I know
walk
that
into an office cold like that.
Philippe, it would help other veterans to know then that with my vast experience in cajoling people and getting somebody to see us, we were about to be turned away with all I can do is deliver the letter and see it gets to him. And I tried again, all I can do is deliver a letter. And I said, you're comfortable with dismissing a combat veteran who has a stake in this? One moment, somebody will be right with you. And somebody came, led us to a conference room, said, somebody will be right with you. So it was the veteran with a stake in this that showed up, that turned it all around where my best efforts didn't. So
yeah,
it shouldn't. He noticed that, you know.
It's true.
I have 25 years experience in cajoling people doing this, and it wasn't worth squat compared to a veteran showing up. So Philippe has also been talking to fellow veterans he knows, thinking they're very close to following some of his example and start showing up. If we go into the summer recess, we're not going quietly. We're going to spend that summer recess having veterans show up more and more to the podcast where they need to be. So he's stirring it up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing great work, Philippe. Great work.
I agree.
And so the other veteran who testified with you at the Senate Health Committee, Don Karpowicz, you know, he spoke about how so many veterans turn to alcohol because it's such a difficult problems to deal with their post-traumatic stress disorder, and how disruptive the alcohol can be. It actually makes things worse for them as veterans. Have you seen that kind of thing in your personal experience?
Oh yeah,
Philippe?
Trust me, I have. I have a lot.
Not unusual.
Nah.
Are you saying that? Was it personal experience? Seeing
It is personal. It is personal experience. Because all right, let me tell you. Here's my experience personally. So in Iraq, I hope this gets edited, but if it doesn't, oh well. So I picked up the Arabic language just so. Because at one point it was heartbreaking. We was away. We don't know what we was doing. So I picked up the language just so we could get liquor for ourselves. And liquor is illegal in that country. But they actually could go to, because Iraq is connected to another country. So the border of Iraq and Jordan is right there, and liquor is not illegal in Jordan. So people would go, and some of the Iraqi police, which I befriended, they would actually, when they would go home, where they come from, some of them would be from Sudan, Jordan, different places, they would bring back liquor for us. And that's what actually helped some of us cope with what was going on over there in Iraq. And it's easier for us to get. Not only it's easier, I felt like too. I was like the liquor. It puts us in a state to where as like you know how hard it is to find happiness. It's very, very hard. So whether you're happy for the time being or whether the time being is like a couple of seconds or a minute, that's what liquor did for us. Helped us find happiness, even though it wasn't a place to us. Like we know we want to be happy, and we know we couldn't be happy. Because a lot of soldiers, like I told you before in the beginning, came back home without having no wives. Wives cheated on them. No family, no people backing them up. No house, no dog. So, and we didn't have anything. So I did, like I said, happiness, which is very hard to find. We was just happy for the time being. So yeah.
And then it's not hard to get something to drink when you get home. So knowing that it works from your experience overseas and moderation, I imagine moderation is not the strong suit when people get back.
No, in Vietnam, many of the soldiers turned to various drugs in addition to alcohol. There was a great deal of cannabis that was used in Vietnam, a lot of heroin too, as a matter of fact. How about other drugs? Were other drugs available in Iraq? Or
In Iraq, let me see. Minus the liquor, we smoked hashisha from time to time.
there was hash available there?
Yeah, we smoked hash with the Iraqi army and the Iraqi police. They were pretty cool. But that's as far as it really went. You know, but just liquor and hash, and smoked hookah, but that smoke is tobacco and everything like that. But yeah, that's it.
Don't mind me, just I looked down and I saw clean up bodies on my notes, and it just stopped me dead in my tracks. I still can't imagine that. So I know he can edit, Lefty will edit that out. It's such a serious issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all kinds of professions deal with, you know, traumatic events. You know, I was a nurse in intensive care units and cardiac care units for about 8 years. So, you know, we certainly see
that's a sudden change,
a great deal of trauma there. And you know, it's sometimes you don't even realize, you know, how much trauma you're being exposed to in your daily life. We were talking earlier about the policemen who, you know, run into so much trauma. And you know, PTSD really, it permeates so much of our society that it really can help not only veterans, of course, but you know, anyone who suffers from PTSD.
It's sad that it falls upon people like you to, in effect, lead the charge with civilian advisors, so to speak. But the civilians that have post-traumatic stress that perhaps a lot of veterans wouldn't trade, a woman finding her mother hanging and not strong enough to help, whether she was alive or not. I mean, there's just so many reasons, but unfortunately, it is veterans who are able to get the doors open, like we were just discussing. I could come in with a sad story about somebody, that exact person, and we still would have not gotten the appointment you and I were able to get because they're a combat veteran. So I know that you recognize that, and it's almost another call to duty, in effect, where you don't have the luxury of ignoring it and just taking care of yourself. You aren't wired that way. So I've seen you gradually giving into it and understanding this is a responsibility you have should you decide to take it. And you stepped up in a big way at your own pace, which has really been rapid, even though it's not 2 or 3 months, a couple of years. You're fully involved. And so we want to thank you for not only being here today, but willing to be so open. I think it's going to be evident to everybody that has watched this that Philippe doesn't have a filter when it's time to tell the truth and tell it like it is. He doesn't have to stop and choose his words, almost like we have to asking a question. His answer are evident immediately, and that we know we're getting an unvarnished truth and a close look at something most of us will never experience. So I'm sorry if you have any ill effects, but you know the good effects outweigh that. Yes. And you're still a soldier. You are. You're different kind of service, but we deeply appreciate it.
And at the end of the day, it's how I go about saying it. Like I could tell you to us, like, you know, us drinking liquor in Iraq, us doing hashish, but I didn't say no names. So at the end of the day, I'm keeping everything on myself.
Yeah, and again, it's just telling it like
well,
it
it's
is.
true. I mean, it's simple. It's a simple truth, you know, and then that's powerful in itself.
Yeah.
But you know, the other thing is that, you know, when you speak out for the veterans who have PTSD, you're also speaking out for children who have PTSD. You know, people who just cannot speak for themselves. And you know, that's what's so powerful too about your testimony and your willingness to you know, endorse this and lobby for this, for access to appropriate marijuana therapy for PTSD victims. You know, the drug war is such a devastating consequences in our society that you know, you arrest parents and you take parents away from the children, and you know, the children are left to fend for themselves. Just by arresting people for drug offenses, you take away the breadwinner from you know, the family, and that automatically lowers their socioeconomic status. And a lower socioeconomic status is associated with a lower IQ, it's associated with lower achievement, it's associated with more apt to be involved with the criminal justice system. And so many negative consequences come from our current policy that we really need to rethink it as a society and really need to stop what we're doing and look at a new approach to dealing with the issue of drugs in America.
And we do need to stop what we're doing because we're getting another sign from the producer.
And
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You know how much I appreciate you here, brother.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
For more information about the Coalition for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey, join us at our free public meetings on the second Tuesday of every month at the Lawrence Township Library in Mercer County, New Jersey, from 7 to 9 p.m. Snacks are served and all are welcome. Remember, every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, somebody's arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, somebody is arrested for cannabis.
Every 42 seconds, someone's arrested for cannabis.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, someone's arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, somebody is arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
Cada 42 segundos está uno arrestado por marihuana.
Every 42 seconds, somebody is arrested for...
Every 42 seconds, someone in this country is arrested for marijuana.
Chaque 42 secondes, il y a arrêté un monde pour marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana.
Every 42 seconds, someone is arrested for marijuana. It could be you.